Dawn are back with a brand new game, and they've not only changed tact, period and style, but more importantly form. A constant change in this physics-based multiplayer multi-platform jaunt, which may require some explanation before we dive into the tech and my initial first look at the game on PC. Now, arena-based action is nothing new itself, being a core pillar in PC gaming history, from such monsters as the Quake or Unreal series, with Quake 3 itself forgoing the single-player aspect entirely and concentrating on multiplayer, which it will continue this year with its Quake Championship. Now, all these games have the stablemate of the genre in Deathmatch, which was coined by legend John Romero when making the Doom multiplayer. Fragtastic action that still runs at the core of all competitive online shooters now, from Battlefield, Halo, Call of Duty and here in DeFormers. But rocket jumps, gauntlets, BFGs and square-jawed quarterbacks are replaced with soft squidgy balls, googly-eyed sharks and huge footballs. But the arena and competition remains, just more Disney than Diablo. Now, you can pick a basic form from the workshop that can be later tailored, suited and changed from 40 various forms and species. A founders pack open for pre-orders or first week players adds an extra 4 to this list, but you can still unlock them when you play through the game even if you don't make the initial launch window. New forms and species will be added after launch to expand the choice and increase the tailored range further. These can be earned through in-game currency from winning games, points or other challenges. You can also fast track, as is now custom, with in-app purchases, as many other titles now add in. Now, even though I'm not a huge fan of this, the demographic and market for this is becoming a standard now, and the choice is there. You can either earn them the good old-fashioned way or just pay to win. Now, once you've picked your chosen star, you then get the option of 3 game modes, with more to come after launch. These are the aforementioned deathmatch, where it's a free-for-all as you roll, squash and blast your way through an 8-man match with only one emerging champion. Or the team variety that pits 4v4 in the same choice of 9 arenas, from deserts, circus top hats and more. Now, like the forms, new arenas and game modes will be added further down the line for free. The third option is my personal favourite, Inform Ball, a kind of soft football as the team on each side fights, grabs and attempts to cluster their way around into the opposition's goal for the top prize. This creates some very frenetic and fun games as you scrabble to block the others from scoring or avoid all the chaos and deliver a messed up, messy hat trick. Single online is not the only place to play, with all formats supporting up to 4-player split-screen action, which can also be played online, making for a fun party game, which my son really enjoys, and the bright pastel colours, cute design style all cater for a family-friendly battler. Now, even though I have not had a chance to enjoy the 2-player split screen so far, I will be covering that in more depth in my head-to-head, and I'll see what performance costs they may have. But I am assured that 2-player is the same rock-solid 60 FPS as the full-screen one from the footage I've seen thus far. The matches are made more dynamic with in-game boosts like losing gravity for a short period, making suicide far more likely, or a huge particle-emitting blob that consumes all within its soft mass. As the arenas are small, this keeps the action constant and at times very chaotic, as you have boxes, pillars, fireballs, powerballs and more all happening at once. Games rarely feel dull with a constant barrage of things to attack, pick up and avoid, along with them never being too long for a winner to be decided. Now, visually this is a very cute game indeed, while being as far removed from the team's last game in the Order 1886 as conceivable, but the engine and evolution are still core Galahad. Now, as I covered in the game's detailed analysis at launch, it used physics on humans, lichens and cloth. Pretty much everything in the game reacting with a hard and soft body physics engine. Here the team have evolved that to the next level, with the entire game underpinned with its incredible soft body physics and animation. Rigid body physics are common in games, as they are simpler to implement and less computationally expensive to run than the soft body we see here. Now, by and large they work, but even if you are not aware of these things at a detailed level, anyone can easily see the difference when it is or is not being used. The far more common steel frame constructed objects being the common ground in most games. Not so in DeFormers, with every movable and malleable object managed through the team's own proprietary physics system that handles objects with both hard and soft body rules. Now, this is immediately obvious from the menu screen, as your beanbag with eyes rolls around and flattens out, looking up, blobbing around, appearing to be the work of standard animation with very high keyframes. but instead this is all achieved through the physics system, delivering a smooth organic movement and a realistic one, as you can see with the stretched faces, wobbling eyes, all housed within their little gel-like bodies. And this can create many of the laughs in the game, picking your character, and the comedic looks, feels and squishing that happens when you just play with the game or play with the characters. Now, I will of course be covering this in far more depth in my full head-to-head, but this kinetic energy is governed within the world rules, from rolling up slopes, breaking through crates, or even heading the ball with your ball, I guess. Now, it can be easily missed or mistaken for something simpler and canned, but is instead far more than just that. Now, my chat with Chief Technology Officer and Founder Andrea Pacino about the game, aims and multi-platform engine is very interesting indeed, and it will accompany my head-to-head with more on the website to follow. As again, diving into these games in analysis is incredibly exciting and enjoyable, but nothing really betters the fact of talking to developers directly and getting it all from the horse's mouth. Or is it shark's mouth? Now, with a game that targets 1080p and upwards on PC and console, it hits 900p on Xbox One and 1080p on PS4, with the Pro also having some extras on top of that, which I'll cover all versions in my head-to-head. But they all run at the same 60 FPS rate, which is welcome for a fast-paced game like this. Although they may not look it, these blobs are fast and fit. Now, performance on PC here for the open beta was very solid most of the time, running at a near top level with only the MSAA shadows disabled and 2x MSA only for other geometry. It's very crisp and, as per the last game, backed up with a temporal pass, so even at the game's 1080 level here, it is an almost shimmer-free experience. It also has a wealthy option screen, allowing you to tweak away to maximise performance or visual quality as suits, from depth of field, anti-aliasing, post effects, volumetrics, or simply choosing from a simple slider, which can include the GPU-based physics. But small dips do arise on this machine near this max setting, as they look to be a combination of GPU and CPU load, engine loop issues, and network code performance. On the form ball, for example, whenever you or the other team score, it dips to a lock 30 for a few seconds until the ball is flung back in and then resumes to 60. Now, this is due to the picture-in-picture full viewport render that pops up. Now, if this minor dip does annoy you, you can simply turn it off within the menu, but it does not affect gameplay at all, and I leave it on. But of course, with the options menu, you can also tweak with MSAA and the post effect suite to get the lock on the target rate you require. Now, likewise, in some of the denser maps, again at the higher settings on my i5 and 970 here, we can have some persistent spikes causing mid-40s of performance for prolonged periods. Now, this may be from the game engine load on this hardware, including physics, causing delays in rendering, but it could easily come from network loss or latency as well, and it was not always present or repeatable. And like I've already covered, tweaking with the settings in the menu screen can bring back large portions of this performance. Just turning off the picture-in-picture is always an easy win. Now, these sections weren't repeatable like I say, but with a dedicated server host system deployed across Europe and the US, it does find matches very quickly and gives an even ping rate for all of them. So bar some obvious exceptions, as should be expected within this RIP-based world, it is a stable connection for the most part. Here in this beta release, it did disconnect a few times, and clip through objects can also happen, but again, this is common of all online games, and the team have been working hard and very openly on fixing these areas and taking feedback on board for this design stress test. With the final game now out today and some time with it, I will have much more to share and confirm with my next multi-platform analysis of the game. Controls always felt good with keyboard and mouse or joypad on PC, and I'm sure the console will work just as well. I enjoyed the 3 modes on offer and variety of levels to play across, with form ball easily being my favourite. And with a group at home or online, this can become a real laugh to play. It would have been nice to see a wider choice of game types at launch to spice up the value for the early adopters, maybe even an offline single or split screen maze challenge using physics powers and such to complete a mini obstacle course first. It does have the potential to offer up a fresh and frantic change to the death swamp shooters these games normally target. And even though the game's range is limited at present, what is available is fun, and the team have big plans to expand on that in the coming months. I will be back very soon with a full look across all formats, a tech deep dive into the engine and how multi-platform it has gone with the developers themselves, so I hope that is a great reason, if not above all else, to return. And yes, I have already asked them for a Switch version. You know, it just makes sense, so watch this space. And as always, I hope you guys and girls enjoyed this. If you did, then you know what to do. Like, subscribe and share where appropriate. Leave all your thoughts and feedback in the comments section below. I'll reply as often as possible. Also follow me on Twitter and read more on this or other articles on my website. And I'll catch you very soon in DeFormers.